Hi, I'm Nancy. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm making oxtail lotus root soup, and this is a subscriber request. So let's review the ingredients. I have some pre-cut oxtail, and you can find oxtail at the Asian market. I have a lotus root, one whole yellow onion, a knob of ginger, there's cilantro, green onion, and this is stem-only mustard green. And for the dry ingredients, I'm using a couple of star anise, tangerine peel, skinless peanuts, and here I have homemade chicken and pork stock and the seasoning salt mix. For the prep, we can start off with cutting the lotus root. So let's trim it. And we'll peel it. And if you've never had lotus root, it's a little bit starchy with a crunchy texture. And it has a nice sweetness to it. And you can see the inside has a nice floral pattern. So I'm going to cut it in half, lengthwise, and cut it into like 1/4 inch slices. Okay, that's done. Next, let's slice up the mustard green. And the mustard green is going to lighten up the soup. It's not going to be too heavy. So we just cut it into small slices. Just remove the stem. Next, let's cut the green onion. And the green onion and the cilantro is going to be used as a garnish at the end. I'm cutting it at an angle. And the cilantro, I like to use the stem also. So I'm cutting the whole thing. Just into like a rough chop. Doesn't have to be too fine. You want to taste the cilantro in the soup. And for the ginger, I'm just going to cut it into a few slices. And the onion, we'll cut it into 1/4. Add a nice kind of mellow flavor to the stock. So all the prep is done. Let's start cooking. The first thing we're going to do is blanch off the mustard greens. Just going to leave it in for about 30 seconds just to cook away some of the rawness. Okay, that's good. Remove it. Okay, set that aside. Now let the water come back up to a boil. Now that the water's come up to a boil, we're going to parboil the oxtail, and this will cook away some of the impurities. Okay, let this come back up to a boil. Now once the water has come back up to a boil, let this cook for 10 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes has elapsed, and you can see that by parboiling it, all the impurities came out. So let's turn off the heat, and off camera I'm going to drain this and give the oxtail a quick wash and rinse. Okay, so now the pot is clean, the oxtails have been rinsed off, and make sure to wash off any blood that's pulled up around the bones. So we return everything to the pot. We'll add all the ingredients. Add the lotus root. We'll add the onion, the ginger, the star anise, tangerine peel, and dry peanuts. And we're going to add the chicken stock. And the general rule of thumb for adding liquid to any soup or stew is to have enough stock or water to cover all the ingredients. And then usually 1 inch above that line. So that's good. Now turn the heat up to high and we'll bring the stock up to a boil. And this is a variation of how I normally cook oxtail. I usually add goji berries, red dates, honey dates, carrots, and that changes the color of the broth. So this time I want to make it light with just a hint of the anise and the tangerine peel in it. So let this come up to a boil. Okay, you can see that the bubbles are forming here. It's coming up to a boil. So let's remove some of the foam. Okay, it's come back up to a boil. Turn it down to low. We'll cover it and let it slow simmer for 3 hours, and we'll be back to check on it. Okay, 3 hours has elapsed. Let's check on the oxtail. Oh, that looks good. Let's skim off some fat. And you can see the broth is nice and light. And it smells wonderful. Okay, I'm going to give it a quick taste. Good. I'm going to add a little bit of the seasoning salt. So mix it again. Still remove some oil. And you can see that the oxtail is just done. You really don't want to overcook it. It will become too gelatinous and leave a very sticky, tacky mouthfeel. Everything looks good. So now let's add the mustard green. And this just needs to warm up. You don't really need to cook it. Give it a good stir, and it's going to heat up very quickly. And the mustard green is a nice contrast to the richness of the oxtails. Okay, so turn off the heat. Let's serve up a bowl. On the side here. Now I'm going to add some of the cilantro. And this is just, this looks so good. It tastes fantastic. And I also like to serve a bit of a Sichuan chili flakes on the side. And also a plate of vinegar and soy sauce. And I use the ratio of 2:1 vinegar to soy. And you can dip the oxtail in it. It's going to help cut some of the fattiness from the oxtail. And here we have a luxe bowl of oxtail lotus root soup. The soup has a rich, beefy, earthy, mellow flavor, and the slow-cooked oxtails are super tender and slightly gelatinous with a silky texture. The lotus roots are sweet with a slight crispy, starchy texture, and they absorb all the flavors of the broth. The peanuts add a bit of extra protein and a light crunch. The star anise adds a hint of licorice, and the tangerine peels infuses the light broth with a citrus aroma. These dried ingredients add a wonderful back note without overpowering the overall taste. The addition of the onion and ginger helps mellow out the beefiness of the oxtails. The crisp mustard greens add a nice peppery, bitter, and somewhat spicy bite. It's a wonderful contrast to the richness of the beef. Oxtail has a good amount of collagen, which is great for your skin. So eat up! This is a simple home-style comfort food that is light and rich in flavor. It's super satisfying any time of the year. Enjoy! Okay, let's see if Shadow likes it. Ooh, she likes the lotus root, the mustard green, and the tender oxtail. Thank you for watching, everyone. Until next time, eat well and be healthy. Share your pics on Facebook. See you next time.